Hey, Daddy, this is the man of the champions, Bill Fonzie Alfonso, giving a shout out to
Something Else.
Something Else, Daddy.
This is Nickel Matara, Great Warrior Wolf, and you are listening to Something Else.
I'm Tony Cini, and you're listening to Something Else.
Hey everybody, it's Rich Palladino, the voice of New England, and you are listening to Something Else with Arya.
Welcome to episode number 315 of Something Else. Feast your ear holes on this week's episode as we take a look at Mid-South Wrestling and an abridged review of World Class Championship Wrestling from July the 27th, 1985. My name is Arya, and joining me, as always, is the Kamala to my Kareem Muhammad. It's Alyssa. Alyssa, how the hell are you doing today?
I'm alive.
You are?
Yeah, last time I checked.
See, I was under the impression that, I woke you up from the grave to come do the show.
I actually had some caffeinated water when I got home, and I'm actually somewhat awake.
Interesting. So hey, we'll see how you're feeling. We'll see in an hour, I guess. So tell me, since this is a pro wrestling podcast, what were your thoughts on SummerSlam over the weekend?
I'm sorry.
I'm assuming you watched both nights, all 12 matches, etc.
Sure. Yay, wrestling?
That's what you were doing while I was sleeping. You woke up, you downloaded the ESPN app, paid $30 for 1 month, so you could watch, 6 hours of wrestling.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
I know
sleeping.
I know what you were really doing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It explains so much all of a sudden. So anyway, after last week, it's good to know we didn't scare you off.
Nope, still here. I still have a girlfriend.
Who is that?
You, doofus.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sometimes I get hit in the head. I just don't remember these things. Hey, maybe for all I know, you ran up and hit me in the head with a metal folding chair over the weekend, and so I don't remember.
No.
Well, let's go to the intro of the show. Let's go to the very excitable Jim Ross, along with Joel Watts, to kick off this week's show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting hour of Mid-South Wrestling. Thanks very much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen, here on the #1 rated sports program in the country. I'm Jim Ross, along with Joel Watts. We will describe the acts that you will see here today. What a tremendous wrestling event. So many classic matchups, Joel. Some great single competition here today on Mid-South.
Exactly right, Jim. We'll see Hacksaw Butch Reed in action. We'll see a newcomer to the Mid-South, Mike Graham, go against Dirty Dutch Mantell. Also, we'll see Al Perez, a newcomer as well, against Dr. Death Steve Williams. We'll see Captain Redneck Dick Murdoch in action. We'll see the champion against Brickhouse Brown. And there's also some great tag team matches. Jim, tell them.
There certainly is, Joel. Ladies and gentlemen, one of those tag team matches, a huge team, the Bounty Hunters. Over 700 pounds combined weight will go against Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Cowboy Bill Watts right here today. And right now, and you hear the music in the background, it can only mean one thing. General Skandor Akbar and his troops are on their way to the ring. It's going to be Kamala and Kareem Muhammad in tag team action. So many exciting things. Let's get started. Let's go to the ring and announcer, Boyd Pierce.
Okay. So you're on week 2, so at least a lot of these names are starting to become familiar-ish to you. We had several of these people wrestling last week. And as, I guess from a complete outside perspective, were you excited at all going in with this lineup on this week's show?
I don't know if I'd say excited, because I'm still trying to get the feel of the characters.
Mhm.
I was kind of looking forward to seeing the Nightmare wrestle more to figure out, why he is the champion. I mean, I know obviously there's a reason he's the champion, but like what he does well to be the champion. Um, and just kind of figure out who everybody is still and what their fighting styles are. Um,
Now, it was last week, and pardon me because I watch way too much, classic wrestling at this point. It was last week. You were here when Sir Oliver Humperdink took the champion from Eddie Gilbert, right?
yes. Yep.
Okay. So there was no follow-up on that at all. They didn't even mention Eddie Gilbert at all on this week's show.
No.
Did you know? Mhm.
I find Humperdink kind of annoying, but I think that's kind of what he's supposed to be.
That is the point. You're supposed to hate that man.
Yeah. His name makes me laugh. I'm so sorry. I
It's
can't
okay.
not laugh at Humperdink. Like,
It is a silly name.
was
Don't feel bad about laughing at that.
was that from a movie? Like Princess Bride or something?
Yeah. What about it?
Like the name Humperdink, wasn't that one of the names of one of the characters in the Princess Bride? I haven't watched it in a while.
I'm. Yeah. Actually, Prince Humperdinck was a character in the Princess Bride.
Okay, I thought so.
Princess Bride. Yeah. By the way,
Okay.
do you want to know what? Do you want to know what Sir Oliver Humperdink's real name is?
I'm not sure I do.
You'd probably never guess it if I gave you a bajillion guesses.
John Smith.
John Sutton. It's
I
close.
was
John
close.
Sutton. Yes. I always wonder, like, how do some people come up with these names? Like, how did John Sutton sit at home and go, I know, I'm going to be Oliver Humperdink?
What year did The Princess Bride come out? Maybe he stole it from The
Movie was
Princess Bride.
movie was 87. Um, I mean, was it a book?
Yes, it was.
So, yeah, I mean, that's it. So the book came out in, looks like 1973. And Sir Oliver Humperdink, looks like the always reliable Wikipedia um, doesn't really give a good date for it, except that he came up with it while he was working the Montreal territory and felt that it would piss off the French fans, in Quebec, because it was very English sounding.
Well, apparently there was a British or is a British singer. Oh, he is still alive. Um, name that uses the name Engelbert Humperdinck, which I didn't think the name Humperdinck could get any better, but Engelbert is peak. Um, and he's still alive. He's 90 years old. I mean,
Now, Sir Oliver did pass away about 10, 12 years ago. So,
that's a
um,
shame.
yeah. But anyway, let's dive into the show. First match, Kareem Muhammad, the Zambui Express, and Kamala with General Skandor Akbar versus Wendell Cooley and Frank Lane. Just an out-and-out squash match. Kareem and Kamala are being built for, main events down the line. And you could tell when you listen to the commentary, they're going to get into a feud with Watts and Duggan soon enough. And this was just a flat-out squash match. I had to laugh because they tell us that their combined weight is 817 pounds. And Joel tries to claim that Kamala weighs 470 pounds, meaning that Kareem Muhammad, who's both taller and fatter than Kamala, is only 347 pounds by using math. And,
Yes, but biologically speaking, muscle is denser and weighs more than fat. So it is possible that a bodybuilder that has more muscle on it could be heavier than someone with more fat on them.
are you trying to tell me that Kamala is a bodybuilder?
Math ain't mathin'. I'm not a math. I do science. I don't do math.
A lot of people put math and science together. If you're good at one, you're automatically good at the other.
Lies. That is why we have calculators on our phones.
I agree. I always sucked at science, but math was my strongest subject. But Kamala pinned Lane with a big splash. Actually, I had to laugh because, again, Kareem Muhammad is, what would you say, 4 or 5 inches taller than Kamala?
He's pretty damn big. Pretty damn tall.
Okay. So when Kamala debuted, and now this guy in reality, he's like, well, I would guesstimate 6'2", 6'3". But when he debuted, they tried claiming he was 6'10" tall. And which it might be the biggest lie in wrestling history. And keep in mind, in wrestling, you lie about your height and weight. But that was such an absurd height difference, especially because the ring announcer at the time was a man named Reeser Bowden, who was taller than Kamala, and Reeser was not 7'2". Which, by the way, if we go by Kamala being 6'10", that would make Kareem Muhammad about 7'2", 7'3", and he's not 7'2", 7'3". Any thoughts on this match?
Hold on. I gotta flip a page. Yeah, honestly, what's his name? Kareem? No.
Kareem Muhammad?
No, Wendell Cooley, I think his name is. He did not stand a chance. He just got like squished, for lack of a better term. Kareem is huge. Like he's a brick wall. And it's just interesting to see and learn too, because things happen so quickly. I had to put it on a lower speed at one point just to kind of track what was going on, so I didn't have to like keep going back and rewatching it. I will say I'm horrible with names, like really bad. So I did use the YouTube assistant to just give me the names and the map of who's in every match, just so I would be able to like write it down and be able to read it back, so I didn't sound like a total dumbass. But yeah.
All right. Well, from here, we were scheduled to have Butch Reed versus Tommy Pritchard. However, for what feels like the third week in a row, Ted DiBiase does not want to let a scheduled match happen. Let's go to Ted DiBiase, who's interrupting Boyd Pierce's introductions.
Wait a minute, I got something to say here. Everybody knows I came out here 3 weeks ago, issued a challenge to Terry Taylor, and I beat him right here in the middle of the ring and proved to everybody, Butch Reed, that I'm the #1 contender for the North American heavyweight title. Now, I know all the sports writers, all of the promoters are saying that Butch Reed is the #1 contender for the world heavyweight title. Well, let me tell you something, Butch. I say no. I say I'm the #1 contender for the world heavyweight title. Ric Flair heard about what I did. He called me. He offered me a lot of money to take care of you. And I said, Ric Flair, keep your money. I don't want your money. I want your title. But the bottom line is, Butch Reed, I'm saying that it's not me that's ducking and dodging and running like you're always accusing me of. It's you that's ducking and dodging. And I'm here to issue a challenge just like I did Terry Taylor. You wrestle me right here, right now, on television, and we'll find out who the #1 contender is for the world title.
Let me tell you something, Mouth. I'll wrestle you anytime, anywhere, any place, my man. But I got a match right now signed to wrestle Tom Pritchard. And if you want some of me, it don't make no difference to me, brother. I'm right here, right now, whatever you want to do.
Well, maybe I can just change your mind.
Hey! Hey!
Oh, you gotta love it. Mid-South is so funny like this because, like, here we are, the scheduled match is Butch Reed and Tommy Pritchard. When they want to, they will play the scheduled match is Butch Reed versus Tommy Pritchard. If you want to make any changes, you got to talk to matchmaker Grizzly Smith. And, we have contracts here. But then there's times like this where it's just like, hey, DiBiase wants to come out and make his own match. What the hell? Let's just do it. And I got to say, DiBiase's been booking his own damn matches all year this year. It started back in January when he lost the North American title to Terry Taylor. And here he is. He wants to skip the North American title entirely and go straight to Ric Flair's world title. And a key to this interview, I don't know if you picked up on this, Alyssa, DiBiase claims that Ric Flair offered him money to take out Butch Reed.
I did catch that. After I was done twitching in pain from the feedback. Yeah, that was something like just, I mean, if it works once, why not do it again, right? Like, you can kick the shit out of someone and somehow become the world champion, or you can get your ass kicked. Like this poor guy.
Poor Tommy Pritchard, he gets knocked out of the ring, and so referee Carl Fergie takes it upon himself to ring the bell and make the match between Butch Reed and Ted DiBiase. And the funny thing is, because they taped 2 shows at a time, like they taped last week's show and this week's show back to back, DiBiase is sweating up a storm. Like, he has not cooled down yet because there's no AC in the Irish McGill Boys Club. This is just some fans, and so he has not cooled down yet here in late July 1985. So he's still sweating for a match that happened 7 days ago on TV anyway. So
I mean, it just
Reed
makes him look kind of scared. Like, those punches just like, I don't know, he went down, it felt kind of easy. Like, I think I counted it like 6 punches, and he was just like, oh, I'm down. And I was like, okay, that wasn't much of a, like, you didn't put up much of a fight in that. But hey, I know, you're just trying to get paid.
So Reed primarily worked the headlock. DiBiase grabbed Reed's tights for leverage to pull Reed onto his shoulders, but Fergie caught him and rolled them back over. Despite that, the story of this was DiBiase's a veteran, so he knows when to cheat and how to cheat, so the referee doesn't see it. And even though Fergie has strong suspicions that DiBiase pulled the hair and cheated to gain the advantage, as my most famous friend Aubrey Edwards once told me, you can't call what you don't see, which is completely true, people. So Reed makes his comeback and they collide mid-ring. DiBiase goes for a foreign object in his tights and puts it in his glove, but he misses twice. He goes for a fist drop, but Reed moves out of the way. So DiBiase rams his foreign object into his own fist. Reed then slams DiBiase's hand hard against the turnbuckle multiple times and then picks up the win with a diving shoulder block in just under 10 minutes. And I got to say, we don't get a lot of long matches on this show, but we've had a couple the last few weeks. And especially when you get the right guys in the ring, it's always good to have a nice, decently long match like this was.
Yeah, what exactly was that he like? I kind of got a little lost. Like, all of a sudden, someone was on the floor, and I don't know if I got confused or if I fell asleep, or not because it was boring, because I was extremely tired last night. I think I went to bed at 7:00 last night. But yeah.
So are you talking about like Tommy Pritchard? Because Tommy Pritchard was on the floor the whole time. he was on. He stayed outside the ring. Or are you talking about when he pulled the object out of his tights?
The guy that pulled the object out of his tights, and then something happened, and he was like writhing in pain, and they had to stop the match.
Oh, well, they stopped the match because he got pinned. But what happened was when someone pulls something out of their tights, it's really nothing. Like sometimes it's a makeup sponge, sometimes it's some tissues or whatever. But generally speaking, it's one of two things. Either a pair of brass knuckles that they'll put on their hand to punch somebody with, or it'll be like, it's supposed to be like a metal plate or something. And that's what DiBiase's done. He's put like a metal plate inside his glove. And he's been using this for about 3 years at this point to cheat, to win matches with. And this time when he goes for a fist drop using his, foreign object, Reed moved out of the way, so he punched the ring mat, which then meant that he hurt his own hand. And that's when Reed then grabbed that hand that had the foreign object in it and slammed it off of the turnbuckle repeatedly before doing his big shoulder block for the win.
Okay, that makes more sense.
So probably what'll happen is next week DiBiase will probably come out with his hand all taped up and blaming Butch Reed for cheating and all this fun stuff because he's a bad guy. And that's what bad guys do, is they lie.
I mean, there was also that guy with the nice shiner on his face. That might be the next match.
I did not notice a nice shiner, so you'll have to point that one out to me.
I can't remember which one it is. I don't remember my own name half the time.
Your name is Alyssa. But,
are you sure?
I mean, that's what you told me. I mean, you may be lying to me for all I know. I've never seen your driver's license, so I don't know. You could be lying to me. Maybe your name is, I don't know, Sudhir Potru or something. I don't know.
No, it's actually Benedict Humperdink.
Wow. Interesting. Well, we'll have to explore that sometime, Benedict.
But yeah, the third match, I think one of the blonde guy had a nice shiner on his left eye.
Okay.
Oh.
So that could have also been the remnants. I think you're talking about Jim Duggan. So that could be the remnants of when his face was lit on fire. Yeah. I went back and saw what you're saying. It's not so much a shiner. About a month, actually, it was at the beginning of May, they did an angle where General Skandor Akbar threw a fireball in his face, and it caused him to have a giant bruise on his face. And so the bruise has been slowly going away, and that's what's left of it.
But he didn't have it last week.
He did.
No.
Was he even on last week's show?
Yeah, he was. Because you called him Duggan.
Are you sure? I mean, if he was, I guarantee he was on there because, like I said, these shows are taped back to back, and they wouldn't have him on 1 week without it if he's going to still have it the next week.
Okay.
But we'd have to go back in time to review that. But any other thoughts on this match between Butch Reed and Ted DiBiase?
No.
But hey, I want to point out that, we've been talking about how they've been moving on from Terry Taylor, who's a bitch, a stooge, and a degens, to Butch Reed. And, a few weeks ago, like DiBiase mentioned, he came out and challenged Terry Taylor to a match and then beat Terry Taylor. This week he comes out and challenges Butch Reed to an impromptu match, and he loses. So it's all subtlety. It's all supposed to work in the back of your brain that this shows you that Butch Reed is now better than Terry Taylor.
Wow.
Yes. Which, by the way, Terry Taylor's not even in the territory anymore, so, but here we
Well,
go.
that's why you can't just fight him.
Exactly. So we go to our next match, Jim Duggan and Bill Watts versus the Bounty Hunters. Now, this was a meat match. This was some big, meaty men. And when Jim Duggan is the smallest man in the match, you have some behemoths.
Oh, boy.
Now you're obviously brand new to wrestling and obviously brand new to Mid-South wrestling specifically. So you you're coming into this with no preconceived notions about anybody. Well,
Nope.
Bill Watts, in case you're not sure, is the owner of the company. And Joel is his son doing commentary. And Bill is a retired pro wrestler. He was a big star in the 60s and 70s. He started this territory in the late 70s, and he's gone from there. Now, he has come in and out of retirement a few times, and this is the most recent time. So you haven't had 4 years of listening to Bill Watts do random train of thought commentary where he doesn't talk about the actual match and just talks about whatever amateur wrestler or whatever small-time celebrity he's recently run into. So when I randomly start rambling during this match about the upcoming NFL season, that might really confuse you. But it's because I've listened to Bill Watts. I'm sorry, go ahead.
It sounds like you would have been great at doing podcasts.
Yeah. I've listened to Bill Watts ignore what's going on in the ring for so long that he deserves to have people not talk about him during his matches.
I mean,
So
I
with the
listen to
NFL
you talk on a normal day, so I think I'm kind of used to it by now.
So with the NFL's football season upon us, I think it's important to discuss the big talking points of the season. Firstly, can the New England Patriots continue building on last year's momentum, or will ultimately last year be shown to be a fluke where they had an easy schedule? Duggan tagged in, and we get a double back body drop on one of the bounty hunters. One of the bounty hunters nearly broke the ropes by climbing to the middle rope, but they missed the splash on Duggan. Duggan speared one of them. Watts broke the rules by getting in without a tag. Referee Alfred Neely really needs to enforce the rules. Duggan pinned one of them with the spear.
Yes. So my notes, this is the time that I really think I started to fall asleep because my notes kind of just trail off from here over the next 3 matches. I swear I watched them. Either that or I was dreaming. But I was kind of confused. So it's a tag team match, right? So typically you would tag someone out to go back in. I think. But then they started to do it where it was 2 against 1, and that seems like, more on the unfair side, especially when you have 2 freaking white rhinos coming at you. But yeah, I was just curious how that kind of slipped by the referee. Is he turning the other cheek, or is he blind?
Referee Alfred Neely needs to be pulled aside and explain the rules of professional wrestling. But at the end of the day, the guy signing his checks is one of the guys breaking the rules. So he has to follow the paycheck here.
See, I get that, but my job is all about yelling at people who break the rules.
Do you yell at your boss if he breaks the rules?
I do. I really do.
Well, your boss is not Cowboy Bill Watts. Cowboy Bill Watts was a tyrant.
Thankfully.
Yes. By the way, you gave us the episode title this week, 2 White Rhinos. Pop for that one. Before that, it was going to be, hey! Which they yelled during the Ted DiBiase Butch Reed angle.
Well, I was trying to think of a nice way to describe the bounty hunters with their size, and white rhinos are really cool. So,
hey, whatever works. And actually, the funny thing is, there's actually a wrestler named Rhino. He is a white guy, but he is so much smaller than either of the bounty hunters.
Well, I mean, white rhinos are massive. I'm thinking about how they held arms during the match and just stampeded over the other wrestler. That's just peak white rhino stampede. You're gonna meet whatever maker you believe in if a white rhino comes at you like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know. So the next match was scheduled as Dirty Dutch Mantel versus the sensational Mike Graham. Now, last week on this very show, I talked about how last week was the only match Mike Graham ever has in Mid-South Wrestling. I was basing it off what Cage Match said. And I was ready to give Cage Match a load of shit because this is not the first time they've been incorrect and screwed me over. However, the match doesn't quite happen. Let's go to Boyd Pierce in the ring, where General Skandor Akbar has shown up in his tights, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to Akbar right now.
I've got a little announcement to make, and I know Bill Watts is upstairs listening. I should have known better to handle any American gutless pigs to do my job. And I'm a little sick and tired of your accusations saying that I've got to hire to get it done, Watts. You know, I was a North American champion. You were a North American champion. And I know that Mid-South cannot survive with the both of us. So Watts, if you're listening, and I know that you are, you just bring yourself down here and we'll have a wrestling match.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, General Skandor Akbar has made a very bold statement, and to say it's surprising would be a phenomenal understatement. This match is to be Dirty Dutch Mantel going against...
What about it, Watts? What about it? Come on, Watts, get down here.
Okay. So, Alyssa, I've been watching wrestling for 35 years. You've been watching wrestling for 7 days. Now, I know from watching all this wrestling in my life when a very obvious trap is being set on the good guys. Was this obvious to you?
You know, I've watched a few Scooby-Doo episodes in my day. Yeah, I'd say that was a very obvious trap.
So here's my point. Like, baby faces, the good guys are supposed to be smart. They're supposed to outsmart the bad guys because these are the people you want to get behind, and you have to be as smart, at least, as the fans in the audience. And the fans in the audience know it's a trap. However, Bill Watts is apparently dumb enough to fall into such an obvious trap. And Bill Watts comes... Go ahead.
That's how the script was written, so, like...
Yeah. Yes, but, like, he's supposed to be your hero. How much of a hero can he be if he's an idiot? And, like, he's getting himself into an obvious situation, you know, what's going to happen here. So Bill Watts does come out, because we get told, by the way, because somebody came out, I think one of the other referees came out and said that Bill Watts had to put his tights back on, and he'll come right back out, after, you know, as soon as he gets his tights on. So Watts comes out. They technically ring the bell, but in reality, this wasn't a match. This was just an angle. Mike Graham and Dutch Mantel were still out there, and Kamala and Kareem Muhammad follow immediately. And they're beating up Watts. Akbar grabbed something out of his tights to hit Watts with. And so we get a 2-on-1 on Watts. Joel is crying out because, hey, it's his daddy getting his ass kicked. Mike Graham is the dumbest man on the planet because he tries getting involved. And so Akbar threw a fireball at Mike Graham. And this is where, like, chaos ensues at this point, on purpose, of course. The chaos ensues because a whole bunch of people are running in and out of the camera range. We are told that the champion has thrown Dick Murdoch into the post, because we see Murdoch laying on the ground, but everyone is more worried about poor Mike Graham, whose face has been set on fire, you know, by that awful, terrible General Skandor Akbar. Now, this is the first time, this is the first time you've ever seen a fireball thrown in pro wrestling. What were your thoughts on this?
I'm sorry, I don't actually remember it happening. it all just happened so fast. I didn't really know where to look. Um, so I wasn't sure how, like, why everybody was like toppled over in pain at one point. I was like, what the just happened? Where did I like? Did I time shift? Did I fall asleep?
That is a valid criticism because it did happen so fast. There's really no build to it. Like they had Watts in position, and Mike Graham just kind of meanders in to try to help out. And it's like they shot it from behind Mike Graham, so you didn't even really see the fireball. And like, yeah, it was over as fast as it happened.
Okay, so it's not just I fell asleep. It was kind of you had to know what was there in order to catch it.
I mean, to be fair, JR was screaming it was a fireball, so.
Excuse me.
No worries. But anyway, like the other thing, and again, this just shows you just how much is happening all at the same time. Because, like I said, we're told the champion posted Dick Murdoch, and we never saw it on camera. Or if we did, it was like such a like corner of the screen, not even paying attention to it moment. But it ends up being an important moment in the show that we'll get to in a few minutes. But it's like, what the hell? Everything happened so quickly, and they wanted that feeling of anarchy and chaos happening. But in this case, it really was a little too much happening all at the same time.
Yeah, the ring wasn't quite big enough for all of the people that were in it, I think. Like, I know that sounds kind of counterintuitive, but these are big dudes, and it's easy for like Kareem to step in front of the action that you really want to see, but someone's in the way and they're not getting out of the way, and the camera technique isn't the same now back then as it is now, so it's a little bit more rigid with the camera. But yeah, yeah, okay.
So it's also important to note that this is Bill Watts' last TV match until next July. So his little comeback is about to fizzle out. It's the law of diminishing returns. So when Bill Watts came out of retirement last year to team with Junkyard Dog to wrestle the Midnight Express, it drew big houses all around the territory. They made a lot of money with Bill Watts coming out of retirement last year. This is now Bill Watts coming out of retirement for the second time, and it's the law of diminishing returns. People care, but they don't care as much because we've already seen it. Next year, he does it a third time, and again, law of diminishing returns. Nobody cares the third time.
No, it's like what's his name? Oh, what's that basketball player that keeps doing that?
Well, I mean, LeBron doesn't really retire if that's what you're talking about, but
I was also thinking of also just came to mind was Tom Brady. He keeps saying he's gonna retire, and then, oh no, this is my last season. Dude,
well, to be fair, he did that once. He did the retirement gimmick, and then months later he came back out of retirement for one or two more seasons. I forget which.
Well,
yeah,
I think and then he switched teams to a different team.
He went to Tampa Bay because him and Belichick had a falling out.
Because he's a freaking traitor.
He's a freaking traitor?
Oh, yeah.
The funny thing is when I started watching football was back in the early 90s, and Joe Montana, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, he played for the San Francisco 49ers forever. But then the 49ers basically got rid of him, and so he played his last couple seasons with the Kansas City Chiefs, which is one of those like Joe Montana was a Kansas City Chief question mark kind of things. But yeah, it's kind of like with Tom Brady, except Montana didn't get another ring in Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm a homegrown masshole here.
Meanwhile, I was born outside New York City, and I'm a fan of the only team in the state of New York. Because the Giants and Jets play in New Jersey, people. By the way, I always forget to mention this. It's officially our birthday month here on Something Else.
Ooh,
We've been doing this for 4 years.
wow.
Yes.
And you've had how many co-hosts? 4?
1, 2, 3. Well, 3 full-timers and 2 temps.
Ah.
We'll see if the temps get hired on full time.
Oh, sorry.
So, as introduced by his manager, the Nightmare, the North American champion, I love it, with Alyssa's favorite manager, Sir Oliver Humperdink, versus Brickhouse Brown. There's only room in this territory for one black guy to get a push, so the champion won quickly with a pile driver. I don't even think Brickhouse got much offense at all.
The champion's black?
No, Brickhouse Brown is black. Butch Reed is black, and he's getting a push.
Oh, okay.
This match, there was nothing to it, but do you have any thoughts on it?
Is this match 5 or 6? This is match 5.
I mean, it depends on how you label some of this stuff. Like, the Kamala match was match 1. Butch Reed versus Ted DiBiase is match 2. The Bounty Hunters versus Duggan and Watts were 3. If you count Watts and Akbar as a match, that was 4. So this was either 4 or 5, depending on whether you count Watts and Akbar.
So I have it as 4.
That's a reasonable, number.
Yeah, but what's weird is my notes. So the names I have don't match up with my notes because all I have for this one is good dodge. Yeah, this is about where it was like, yeah, it was a good match. It wasn't, a life-changing match, but it was watchable. It's nothing to write home about.
After that, Steve Williams versus Al Perez. So Ted DiBiase, who is out more than Akbar is this episode, was out here for immoral support. And after Al Perez's first 2 matches in this territory took less than 30 seconds, this match went a lot longer than 30 seconds. And actually, Doc had the advantage for most of the match. He missed the corner charge. Al made his comeback. He went for a whisper in the wind of all things. Like, he went for like a flip dive out of the corner, but he twisted around, so he did the whisper in the wind. But Doc ducked that. But Perez got the bridging German suplex on, but DiBiase got in the ring and punted a field goal with Al Perez's ribs for the disqualification.
Yes, that was quite the thing. I can't believe he just kind of like got disqualified, but people could have been working better.
You can't just have your second get in the ring and kick your opponent.
Oh, apparently there was a stabbing at the feast this weekend.
For the record, nobody has any idea what the hell you're talking about, although I think people know what a stabbing is.
Don't worry, I didn't do it this time.
Right, this time. What kind of person am I involved with? Any other thoughts on Dr. Death and Al Perez?
I also have kick written down.
There were some kicks in this match, including the one by Ted DiBiase that led to the disqualification.
Yeah, sorry, this is about the time that my brain really shut off.
Well, your brain really would have shut off if you knew what the man we are about to see is and is known for being. So up next, we were scheduled to have Mark Hawk versus Dick Murdoch. However, known pedophile Grizzly Smith gets in the ring and has something to say.
Dick Murdoch was injured. He has an injured shoulder. He was injured by the Nightmare earlier tonight. He's unable to wrestle. I've sent the referee up. We're going to have a replacement for Dick Murdoch in this match. If you'll hold on just a minute, we will have a match.
All right.
Can't wrestle. I thought Dick Murdoch was this big, tough Texas guy. Wants everybody to think he's a real tough guy. He's running around calling everybody names. And now this guy comes out here and says he can't wrestle? What's wrong? Is he yellow or what? You know, that's the difference between pro and amateur. Whatever your name is, and Big Boy, whatever your name is, a pro is in there no matter what. If he's hurt, if he's well, and an amateur like Dick Murdoch obviously is a sissy. He wants to crawl away and lick his wound somewhere. I thought he was a man, huh? He's signed to wrestle here today, isn't he? Hey, I once had a temperature of 106, and I showed up. I was very ill.
You know very well that Murdoch was injured. You know he had.
I know he was injured. Hey, injured? I told you I had a temperature of 106 one day. I was very ill. Didn't feel like doing anything, but yet I showed up.
Oh, you gotta love heels in wrestling. Oh, I wrestled with a temperature of 106 degrees. I showed up. I was here. It's like when Kurt Angle was talking about Triple H tearing his quad, he's like, I tear my quad all the time. I tore it this morning, and I'm here. I'm jumping around. What the hell's wrong with him? But
this is so, I mean, obviously it's pre-COVID, but post-COVID, it has such a different connotation of just, why are you going into work sick? But, yeah. Don't go.
Back in these days, you don't go to work, you don't get paid.
I don't get paid if I don't go to work. But
not
still,
in pro wrestling. If you have a match and you call out with 106-degree fever, you're not getting paid for that show.
106-degree fever. That's like go to the hospital before you die territory.
Yes, obviously, but you know. Now I have to laugh. So Dick Murdoch has an injured shoulder. In reality, if you have such a badly injured shoulder that you cannot lift your arm, which when Dick Murdoch comes out, he cannot lift his arm, he should not be wrestling. However, Sir Oliver Humperdink called him a sissy, and those are fighting words. You don't call another man a sissy in 1985 especially and get away with it. So Dick Murdoch, injured arm and all, came out and beat Mark Hawk with an elbow drop in like 20 seconds. You wonder how quickly he would have won if he had two good shoulders.
Almost like he wasn't hurt at all.
Are you implying something about everyone's favorite pro wrestlers that they may not really be hurt?
No, just that it was so impressive.
So obviously they're setting something up here with Dick Murdoch and the champion. Which, hey, that could be a really interesting little match here, don't you think?
I mean, it could definitely. I can't wait to see where it kind of leads to.
Apparently, Dick Murdoch versus the champion. Although, hey, after Eddie Gilbert didn't show up this week, you know, maybe Dick Murdoch won't be here next week.
Maybe he had a thing.
Dick Murdoch or Eddie Gilbert?
I don't know. One of them.
So they showed an angle from last week on Power Pro Wrestling where the Fantastics were wrestling somebody, and superstar Bill Dundee and Dutch Mantell ran in and attacked them. Bill Dundee held down Bobby Fulton while Dutch whipped him with Shoe Baby, and then Tommy Rogers ran in with a chair to make the save. And we're told we'll see the whole incident next week. I got to tell you, I felt like we saw the whole damn incident right now. But any thoughts on this angle from last week?
Maybe we'll actually see him hurt his shoulder. They had to reshoot it in post.
They did not reshoot things back in the day.
That was a joke, Nemo.
But hey, did you hear the news about next week?
No, what?
Next week, the midgets are going to be here.
Oh my god.
That's what they said. I am quoting the announcers.
Oh my god.
Is it for Mid-South Wrestling? Any final thoughts on the show?
I actually found it less entertaining than last week. I don't know if it's, second week kind of losing its spark, or if it just wasn't as entertaining. Or if I was just, DOA when I was watching this. But
You're like, oh, throwing fire in people's faces, whipping people with, whip. That happens every couple days at the Alyssa household.
well, I work at a Ren fair, so yeah, whips are pretty common.
Oh, Lord. So nothing happened on World Class, basically. I know I promised this. I sped through it. Jack Victory beat Mike Bond. Mark Lewin beat Scott Casey. Mike Von Erich beat, Killer Tim Brooks. And One Man Gang beat Kabuki in a lumberjack match. I just saved everybody 42 minutes of their life.
Yay.
All right. So we might as well wrap things up here, unless you had anything else you want to talk about.
I do just want to say for the record, I did say I might have been DOA when I watched this, so...
You were dead on arrival?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week's show. I hope you all enjoyed the show. I'll see if I can drag Alyssa back for a third week next week. But thank you all for listening. Hope you all enjoyed the show. And we'll talk to you again in 7 days.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.